Hey everybody, so this is Elijah again, back with another podcast video. I appreciate your time. I appreciate y'all for supporting and continuing to tune in for these episodes. So today I wanted to, not just sit by myself and talk about music, but have a friend of mine on, Gino. You've been on a long time ago, but I appreciate you coming back on. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good,
Yeah.
bro. Nice to meet you. Well, nice to meet you, but it's good to be back.
I am. It's a new me.
It's a new me.
I received that, but it's hard to I don't know many people I could sit with and have music combos with. It's hard because we're gonna go into that. That's a whole different thing. But anyway, I really appreciate you taking time to be here because there's so much that's happening, especially in the music space right now, and the Christian music space, the gospel music space. And let's just jump straight into it, honestly. So CCM and gospel, that's one of the first things I wrote down for our discussion. I know I have so many thoughts on it, and I know we were both came up on both, right?
Right.
I mean, can you explain for people like the distinction in your words, like what is CCM versus quote unquote gospel music?
Well, for starters, I come from a millennial era where contemporary Christian gospel music versus just urban black gospel music. That era alone was a lot different from what we're listening to now. Gospel music has developed in so many areas to where most cases that choirs are not sounding the same. Worship leaders are not sounding the same. No. Just the music as a whole is just not the same. You used to listen to that raw, choir church sound.
Yeah, a lot of percussion.
A lot of, the hand clapping, foot stomping, cowbelling.
Yes,
so,
harmonicas.
Yeah,
right?
but for now, in this generation, it's all about, digital production, clip tracks.
Yes, I love a click track. This generation.
I can't lie. I love me a click track.
Love
but
it.
Sometimes it
new age.
Yeah, it's new age. But I would say that contemporary Christian music deciphers from what we are supposedly say black gospel.
Yeah, black gospel.
In a sense.
What they talking about?
It's different, I would say for me, for what I have listened to from contemporary gospel, it's just more so of they're telling more of a story of yes, Jesus loved me, or
like a struggle.
It's
different context.
Yeah, it's different context,
yeah.
And it's just it's hard to really explain it because you still get the best of both worlds in both.
Yeah.
So I do feel like with contemporary gospel, you still can sing gospel but still tell a story and actually be true to that story.
Yeah.
Versus gospel music. There's some ways of telling stories, but at the same time there's exaggeration.
Yeah.
There's a lot of entertainment.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes.
And I mean, it's noticeable.
So let me ask you this. Let's park there because we're not gonna name names. I don't like naming names on my podcast, but that one fella in the industry stirred the conversation really by saying, don't nobody want them runs anymore, and don't nobody want all that hollering.
Says who?
That says the sales. I mean, does he have a point to your point of like with gospel music? And this is something I've observed. When we think of showmanship and the runs and we have, well, not we, but the quote unquote black church, they have praise break competitions and which drummer can out drum each other. Granted, competition is a thing within musicians in general, but with gospel music, you know when you're gonna go see a Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, Clark, whatever, it's gonna be something going on that's not the same. Like if you're going to see Bethel Worship or Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, you know what I'm saying? Like you know when you're gonna go see Erica Campbell or just some powerhouse singer in the black gospel space, they're gonna make you go like, whoa, like their vocals or whoa, versus like maybe you're going to a CCM moment and it's just about the worship, the worship,
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I will have to agree and disagree with that statement, because I feel like, yes, at some point runs are good, but you can differentiate whether the runs is more so for entertainment or if it's a natural thing.
100%.
And I feel like as people listen to gospel music, I mean, it's always good to just stick with the script of just keeping it simple, precise, and to the point of gospel. And and then sometimes when gospel artists are on stage, they get into this realm of, okay, I'm on stage, it's not just me on stage. Sometimes it could be you on stage. Sometimes you can be with the heavy hitters on stage. So it's your opportunity to show out. So therefore you can kind of see, oh, well, you can do this, well, I can do this. Or
musicians are the same way.
Yeah, musicians are the same way.
They are.
So it's more so like a tit for tat thing of who can do things a lot better. In a sense. So I feel like, because I'm such an old soul.
Yeah, you is.
I'm such an old soul, and again, I come from a millennial era where I've listened to the Wilmington Chester Mass Choir.
Never heard of them.
The Mississippi Mass Choir.
This is coming from a director, if you don't know that. But go ahead. He's a director.
I've listened to the old Ricky Dillard Chicago. Sound,
Ricky Dillard,
the Richard Smallwood, and stuff like that. Back in the 90s, it really wasn't that much of runs and riffs and
you remember stuff. Carlton Pearson?
Yes. Ooh, Carlton Pearson,
the glory.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes. That was. I was gonna say that too. Like, I feel like 90s worship music with gospel and CCM was so similar.
It was.
I feel like it really was, because they were also spinning off each other's songs. Because Andre Crouch he wrote The Blood, all the classic, almost all the classics we know. But his music is not so vocally extravagant. You know what I'm saying? It was digestible by the white audience and the black audience and internationally.
Yeah.
So in a way, but to your point, it's like that balance. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some people that, to them, any run is doing too much, right? And then there are some people that's like, okay, if you start the song and you haven't got to the second line and you're still running, you're going too fast, and it's it's too much. So it's like, I think we should leave it to the singers to make that judgment call.
Yeah, because
it's the people oftentimes that get in the head of the singer. I've talked to people, and maybe you have too, where it's like, I'll say for me, when I'm at church and I sing, I'm on like level 10 out of 100, because I'm always analyzing, okay, I creatively express myself a certain way when I'm recording my songs. Secret plug, I'm working on the music, so I'm really like trying not to hold back, and I'm more free. But when you are in a public space, you in your head like, I don't want people to think this, I don't want them to think I'm showing out. But sometimes you just got the chops, sometimes you have the talent, and so why is your talent
let me just say this,
you
and I know that, I'm just a worship leader, hands down. You know it. The friends that are around me know it.
Yeah.
So that I don't want to do something to make people think that I'm showing off.
Right.
I'm at this. I just think that for me, my relationship with God is important for me to really not care what people think of how I express my worship, and not to judge of how, some say that it's showing off, some say that, it's for entertainment. At this point, you really can't speak for me, because I mean, if I'm in front of people.
Yeah.
And if I'm in front of that microphone, I'm not really worrying about what the people is saying
Thinking.
in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm singing to the glory of God.
Right.
So at some point while I'm leading, you know, you have to open that door for people to gravitate with what you're singing.
Yeah.
And
Agreed. Yeah.
you know, for many singers who pretty much are in that, you know, that spotlight, you know, they're the ones that are, you know, holding the atmosphere down.
Yeah. It's true.
And it gravitates to the congregation after
Yes.
that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that.
So
yeah.
and so it's just it's I just feel like a lot of people really tend to criticize
Yeah.
singers
They do harshly, to be honest.
in a sense where they feel like because it's a gift for them that's given
Right.
by God
Yeah.
and not for skill or entertainment,
Yeah.
there's a difference.
Yeah. I agree.
So, and you've heard this before, you know, and I've said this before because I am a choir director,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I am working along with a choir, and I've always tell the members of the choir, like, if this is a gift that God's giving you, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
You know, are you just
Right.
singing based on what people will say about you, or are you singing because this is what you really love to do?
Right.
And if so, what can you do to show that you love singing?
Yes.
You know, it's not about what people say, because those ones that say a lot of things, they just sit back and don't really do anything at all, but just want to criticize in a sense. And those type of people I really don't care for, or really don't really have anything to hear what they have to say, because it's not beneficial for me, especially for me when I have experience of singing.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize, like, I've directed since I was in high school. You know, since I've been a freshman up until senior year, you know, I've been an assistant director traveling from different churches to win, you know, for competitions and whatnot. So I can understand exactly what to expect, not just for entertainment. All right, because even though it's more so of a competition where, you know, who will win the prize, but at the same time, it's more so strictly
Still
God
less-
and God. That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that's likely, you know, you've talked to me about that before. That's likely one reason why we get along musically, especially because, you know, growing up, I grew up going to different churches. I didn't travel like in competition space, but in like after school programs, I would do vocal classes. And so I was around. I always tell people, like, you don't know what it's like, or rather, let me rephrase that. You don't know what you're capable of until you really meet people that are doing in the way that you haven't gotten to yet. Like you've been around singers that can sing. You have to be around people that sing in a way that you aspire to as far as the level. And I've heard people sing that have similar tones to me, that I'm like, you are the singer I'm trying to be. So it's like anything outside of that, I'm like, you know, no, this is, like you said, you have to identify as that gift. And before we go to the next point, I had talked about this with a friend literally the other day, because I had to make, now this is a little more biblical, not verses, but the joyful noise thing versus the talent thing. I had to explain to her that I didn't want to put her name out there. I explained to her, I said, you know, her argument was, you know, if a person wants to sing, and it's a joyful noise, and that's pleasing. And I agreed with her. But my argument was, well, let me ask you this. Can you not sing from behind the pew? I mean, it's almost like there has to be a reason why you want to sing to people, right? Because when you're singing to people, you're singing to two entities. You're singing to God and to the people you're singing to.
The congregation.
The congregation is literally, you're not going up there, turning your back to the congregation, just singing "Have a Praise Husband" by yourself. You're singing to do something, to uplift others and bring them in, like you were saying earlier. So I think one thing I've learned, you know, especially when it comes to that, is like, why do I sing? You know, my older sister, growing up, she sang with me, but the older I got, the more I had to realize, I'm like, she don't like singing no more. Because like I would pull her, I said, sis, like, listen to this song, like, sing with me. And she's like, Elijah, I'm just not into it no more. And so I'm like, oh, I have relatives that don't sing. Like, this is torture, actually. You know, that's the side story. But my point is, I had to realize that she just told me straight up, I don't have the passion like you do. So it was just I was forcing her. So in that instance, I'm like, okay, this is my gift. But she'll give a joyful noise. I just learned that distinction between singers that sing because that's your gift,
Right.
and people that sing because they have a song in their heart.
Right.
I think we cannot put the two together, and that's where it becomes gray.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah, I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when it comes to Christian music and CCM rather and gospel, you mentioned something earlier about like the storytelling. With CCM, I mentioned this on a previous video, but with CCM, I noticed the language of music is kind of different than with traditional black gospel. Do you think there's a cultural aspect of? I don't know how much you know about the historical aspects of gospel music and Christian music, but do you think there's a historical aspect where black traditional music like the Mahalia Jacksons and whatnot, they come from a Jesus view fence, and just kind of like the tone of music is different versus maybe at the time, the slave owner, they had a different perspective and they had a different goal, was to just bask in the presence. Do you see something there? Because I have heard studies about that, but when I mentioned it, people went quiet on me. So I wanted to know, like, do you see that?
It really is a big difference,
Yeah.
I would say, because of course you got the songs that were based upon slave stories, and then you got hymn books,
Yeah.
where you find in the Catholic eras of them singing songs in books. Then you got words from traditional gospel, where it's just either Pentecostal, Baptist, Church in God in Christ, Apostolic. Then you got that contemporary gospel where it's worship, but it's more of a
Is it like, you talking about like, Lord, you are good? Like those types of worship songs?
I wouldn't say not necessarily that. It's bottom line of the whole aspect of it. There's a difference.
Yeah.
It's a really big difference.
I thought there would be, my perspective.
Like, you can hear high and lifted up, high and lifted up,
Yeah.
versus high and lifted up.
Yeah.
Is our God, is our God. It's a
Yeah,
difference.
there is a difference.
And it's, I can't really say it's more of a cultural thing, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of a distinctive of a vibe of how gospel is when.
I think that's culture, though, right? Because think of it this way, though. Think of it this way: the classical. I'm not talking about like opera, but the classical approach to music, even a musician from theory, that came from Europe. A lot of it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we have. Oh my goodness! I saw a documentary on. I think it was Whitney Houston. It was like a documentary about like how she sonically was popular compared to her mother, Cissy Houston. Now, Cissy Houston was more of a soulful singer and like the churchy type of tone.
Yeah.
And Whitney, obviously, she was an international icon and legend, but she had this kind of a universal classic approach, where she had that controlled head voice and those simple tones. She had riffs in there every now and then, but according to the research, in her prime, she got a lot of flack from black people that she's not black enough and she don't have enough soul. And I mean, it's honestly super expected, right?
I do remember that documentary.
Yeah. She's she was a black, but she was determined to. She didn't let that define her, and she didn't let people say this is how you have to sound, and it worked out for her because she reached an international audience. And one of the things that I learned from her growing up was you got to sing from the heart. I mean, she didn't sing all Christian songs, but she sang from her belly, like, and
Yeah.
it connected internationally.
Right.
So from that perspective, that's why I'm saying, like, I do think culture has because, I mean, let's just be honest. There are just certain gospel, quote unquote, gospel artists that they'll never be international because their just approach to music is so niched within the culture that someone from Indonesia is probably like, I can't connect to that. Now, is that problematic? Probably. Because why does it have to be the classical sound that reaches the masses versus a soulful, right? Does that make sense? Like,
I mean, I
think it's like a bias.
I will say
know.
that in a sense, it is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Because I will say that, you know, it's not just black and white gospel. I mean,
Yeah.
you got
Right.
African gospel.
Yes, Afrobeats and all that.
You
yeah.
got you know, Mali gospel,
What's that?
where it's just you know, that Caribbean.
Okay,
It's
like a
that-
islander.
Yeah,
type
it's
of
like the
tone?
island sound
Okay.
where they still talk about Jesus, they speak
Okay.
about Jesus, they
Yeah.
sing about Jesus, but in a cultural sense, musically, it's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like this American traditional
Yes.
gospel
Right. Right.
where you basically hear over the radio.
Yeah, they all kind of have the same
Yeah, it's
tempo.
all, they all kind of have the same thing. Now, I will say this, and this is where I find very interesting in the gospel industry itself.
Yeah.
You know, I have heard, you know, the difference of, you know, Maverick City and, you know, different gospel choirs who are either under Pentecost or, you know,
Yeah.
they sing certain songs that that I know for us growing up in church, we don't
Yeah.
really sing.
yes. Yes.
You know, and
yes, know.
I just think that yes, it could be a cultural thing, but
Right.
I will say that altogether, it falls in line of the same ministry itself. If they may have different volumes per se,
Yeah. Yeah.
but in a stance of cultural,
Yeah.
yes, I will say it's definitely cultural because again, you got different genres of
do.
gospel sung different ways.
Yeah. Can we emphasize that too? Because I don't think a lot of people expose themselves to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't. There's like this American music supremacy. That's kind of like
Yes,
it's exhausting. I was making a good example. It's a little transparent moment. When I was working on my song list for my album, I wanted, because I'm Jamaican, I wanted to have like a Jamaican style song.
yeah,
And I reached out to a producer over there through a mutual friend, and the beat, I liked it, but I sent it. She might watch this. Hey, sis. I sent it to somebody in Jamaica just to see, like, you know, make me get a second pair of
Yeah.
ears on it. Because my mom, she liked it. My sister liked it, but she didn't not like it. But she gave me her advice that it might be a little too reggae, you know. And I feel like she was right. That's why I didn't do it. But in my mind, I'm like, Jamaican sound can't be American sound. I'm not. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I grew up in a lot of churches where we did praise and worship in the Jamaican style, and it was not. We was not thinking of dance hall. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so I'm like, it was hard to figure that outsiders backed off. You know what I'm saying? But why do you think that cultural aspect gets so washed? Like, what is it? You know, what is it? What is that about? Do you think it's like America is looked at as like the standard?
Well, I want to say that it's not technically like Americans being looked at as if this is the standard of how gospel should be.
Yeah. You don't
because-
think so? You don't think they look at America like that?
Well, I would say if people think that America's gospel needs to be looked at as a standard,
Yeah, like a universal sound.
no, that's where I come to a point where I disagree because the American standard of gospel is more so secular.
Yeah, no, talk about that
And
with the
because
genres.
I just think
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't
Yeah.
understand that, you know, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a way where if you're Jamaican
Mm-hmm.
and if you are into the gospel, you know, industry where
Yeah,
it's you can look at different beats and different rhythms.
You're right.
Can't necessarily say it's too reggae, Because again,
Well, I mean,
it depends. But that thing,
'cause there's some reggae beats that's like, wait, hold up, why do I feel like
well,
this?
but I
I
mean, it
mean-
depends. I mean, you can write a good lyric,
Yeah.
but it all falls down to what type of beat you're gonna actually represent with
Yeah.
that lyric. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you may think it's too reggae, but if that song speaks to you in a way where you get happy deep down in your soul,
Yeah.
then you can't technically say that, oh, it's too reggae for me. You know, if I'm you
Yeah.
know, and I'm not Jamaican.
I know what you're saying. I'm coming up. Yeah.
So I just think that a lot of people think too deep based on rhythm.
Yeah.
You can get a good rhythm and a good beat, but
Yeah.
what's really important is those words that you write
Yeah.
on that paper
That's true. Yeah.
to create that song together.
Yeah.
You know, never mind that. You know,
yeah.
it's-
That's the Caribbean beats.
Never mind that, but within that
Caribbean beat.
Caribbean beat,
Yeah.
you can talk about Jesus rose.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can talk about Jesus died for me, and
Yeah.
in a way where
Yeah.
the beat and the song itself can
Yeah.
actually be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
God, you're doing it right now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can really feel
I agree.
this.
I agree. I think it takes the right skill to know that you got a song that it works.
Yeah, it takes
You know what I'm
it takes
saying?
the right
Because
skill.
I don't know if you heard of Spice and Lady Saw in there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trust her in the studio, right? I wouldn't say, "Help me make a holiness song."
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust her, right?
Yeah.
But you know, there were certain songs even by Papa, Papa San, he's like,
I've heard. Yeah,
I could like go on and on, but Papa San, he was like it was weird. I never knew if he was rapping or singing growing up, but it sounded like he was singing. But there was just certain songs that to this day I listen to it because I'm like, oh, this is so good, and it's like, so and I agree. I think that is one of the things that contributes to our open to creativity, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not. Even if you get, I always say this, even if you get a new understanding, like I'm sure our perspective on music will evolve, right? But here we are.
Yeah.
So I mean, what you can't. It's almost like sometimes we put ourselves in the future, and we don't even have the knowledge that is there. So it's like, how about we just live right now? You know what I'm saying? I would rather live my days out doing the best I can,
Yeah.
than trying to figure out the entirety of every subject in the world and then go for it.
exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
exactly.
that's why I did Praise Goes Up.
Exactly.
Because if I told somebody, hey, I want to do an African song, oh, brother, well, it's like, I don't kick it that way. You know what I'm saying? I will take my phone and be like, and just from scratch.
It's all about. I believe that it's all about really getting comfortable in what your norm is.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, because a lot of us Black traditional gospelists, we tend to not really
Yeah.
get into being versatile in different music.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah. Close-minded.
yeah, very very much close-minded.
Especially
because,
the older generation.
well, honestly, it could be older and middle age.
You
and
think
young.
so? Because I'm just talking about growing up. I ain't talking about nobody specific, but I find
Yeah, but I would say
yeah.
back then it was more so of
Yeah.
I know it was the blood.
Yeah, they
like
don't-
that's that.
they don't-
One day when I was
they don't
young,
go
Jesus
past.
died on
I
the
remember I
cross.
was telling a friend a while back that it's like every song it don't gotta be it's like okay. There's
Yeah.
other progressions out there,
Yeah.
other chord progressions, so anyway, but to your point, I mean, have you come across a lot of people in the older generation that's more open-minded than the younger? Or are you saying like it's
Oh
just
no,
That's what I'm saying.
Then
That's what I'm saying.
I have actually sat down with older and not just
Yeah.
members in the church, but
In general.
even in general. It's
Yeah.
like
I do the same.
it was more so of I don't think this is giving gospel. We should just keep it the way it is,
Really?
keep it where a standard's supposed to be. But to be honest, what is really a standard in gospel music? Because it has spread
It has.
in a way where we come into a sense where what is really the standard of gospel? How is gospel supposed to be sung?
Yeah, outside of lyricism.
Outside of that,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to conduct yourself when you're on that platform, when you're in prison worship?
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of people back then is, you know, they say that, you know, there was a standard, and I can agree. Back then, you know,
agreed.
you had the Walter
Excellence.
Hawkins, you had the Reverend Clay Evans, you had you had so many artists, not just in the 90s. You got to think about the 80s, the
Yes,
70s,
it goes back 60s,
the 60s, because
70s.
every generation of gospel was a lot
Shirley
different.
Caesar like owned her
Oh,
generation.
yes.
She owned her generation.
Definitely, yes.
There were songs that my mom would taught me. There's one song Shirley Caesar sang. My mom would sing to me as a kid that she didn't even remember who sang it because that's how old it was.
Yeah.
It was like, Jesus is only a prayer away. And my mom, she just knew that chorus. But I was like, Mom, that's Shirley Caesar. She's like, what? So that lady been around like a gazillion years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I'm pretty sure she knows that, you know, gospel has, you know, changed so much.
Yeah.
Where now it's like you gotta fit in.
Let me ask you that. That's a perfect segue.
I feel like I'm about to stir something.
You are. You just took me back to my childhood, to be honest, because that's another thing of it. You know, growing up, they always talk about pushing the envelope, and you remember when a lot of the artists we enjoy now, like they would always say, "Oh, well, we need to do features with rappers and change up the beats because we got to reach the young generation." Mind you, I personally didn't need that. Now, speak for yourself. Did you need like a rap Christian song to feel connected to Christ?
No.
Like, what was that about? What was that like for you?
No, it's just I can't get with that.
Yeah.
You know, all due respect with my gospel rap artists, you know,
Yeah.
me personally, it just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
You know, I just rather hear a good vocalist singing
Yeah.
with soul and spirit and actually singing in meaning to where
Yeah.
if I'm going through something,
Right.
I would like to feel what you're actually singing. You rapping to me is not gonna do nothing for me.
I agree. But that's the thing is, though, Gino, I feel like the industry, they have used that as a means to just try to be in those spaces, though. You know what I'm saying? That's how I saw it. I'm like, y'all just want to be like them. Y'all don't want, y'all are tired of being set apart. I mean, to kind of be blunt, right? It's like, we didn't need, I remember I loved the Ernest Pugh's earlier days. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
Even the Kirk Franklin back in the day was
Rebirth was why I wanted to be on choir.
yes,
Period.
yeah.
I was
Same.
like any choir, like how do they just,
No, I'm the same.
you know,
I literally was
Rebirth
the same.
was crazy. Yeah.
But then it's like you see what's going on
Right.
now. Like I used to
Yes.
back then when I was a kid, I used to watch like the Stellar Awards hands
Yes.
down. Now I just get so tired of
It's
it.
tired.
I don't even listen. I don't even
I only watch
it no more
to see my
because
favorite people.
I don't even watch it. Period.
Oh.
You know, because even then, like just
Yeah.
like you said, set apart.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
And you know,
It was different.
The wardrobe was different.
Yeah.
The style was
music.
different.
It was not the performance.
It wasn't.
They used to just sing out there. Like, you
Yeah.
remember that one clip of Yolanda? Even me, Lord.
Yes.
That clip. I used to watch that clip all the time. She was in
to
it.
this day, I still watch it on YouTube.
I really feel like she was really in it.
yeah.
Like, she meant every word. Like, you know, but now it's
I really do believe that gospel itself they want to be so secular,
they do. Yeah.
and surprisingly for the ones that say they're church, they agree to that type of stability and just being, oh well, we're trying to reach the people, but my thing is like, how are you reaching the people where you're giving off secular?
Yeah.
If that's a form of you reaching the people, you're not doing a good job in that. I'm sorry. That's just me. You may call me old and traditional. It's whatever floats your boat. It is what it is.
Right.
But I've grew up where the sound of gospel was so different. Like the sound of choirs was so different.
Yeah, you could hear it.
It wasn't all this digital technology and it wasn't all
zillion augs.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't really all of that going on.
Yeah.
But now it's just even the beats. It's practically, at least I would say 80 to 90% of the music is studio based.
Yeah, that is true.
You never hear
But you know what's
a live.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
no,
off,
no, no. I'm just
but
cutting you
you
off.
never hear like a live church sound to where it's like
Yeah.
you don't really have to mute the congregation, and then all you hear is the sound of the choir,
overdubs and
like
stuff.
where's the audience? You know, where's
That's
the
a good point.
Where's
That
the
organic
congregation where you hear somebody actually like giving crying out, giving God praise.
Well, they ain't crying out because there's no spirit in there.
You know, it ain't.
But yeah.
So,
but you know, I'm glad you mentioned that because there's a lot of, I think too, it's a level of perfection because while I'm working on, music in the studio, and a lot of what I'm doing is intentional because I'm self-teaching, like I want to, I just, sometimes that's just how I've always been as a kid. But my point is, working on music have taught me a lot of people nowadays, the songs are so different also because there was a level of okayness with imperfection back in the day. Like I listened to a lot of songs I listened to growing up. I'm like, oh, they were flat and they were pitchy and the mix was not even that good. But I'm like, how did I not hear this? Yeah. But to this day, those were I want to talk about this a little bit. Helen Baylor's Live Experience album. Do you remember that we talked about? I know I always bring this up when I'm with you, but I literally thought I was the only one on the planet that had that CD growing up because that was the CD that inspired me to sing. That's probably why I have like a lower tone because Helen kind of sings in her she's like a alto in her. She has those rich notes, so I probably got that from her. But even on that project, I'm listening to the songs, and that was a live album. But it sounds live. The mix don't even really sound super clean. But I was like, that was a flawless project to me. So it's like, I think my point is, maybe there's this push for studio perfection and auto-tuning and this and that, and this and that, this and that, this and that have overwhelmed the organic okayness with raw mistakes. Even some live songs, I found out by research and just kind of paying attention that, they went back and overdubbed what they did wrong live. Yeah. So it's like it's a live song, but your part ain't live, that part ain't live. Yeah. So do you think that need for perfection is just overwhelming people nowadays? You know what I'm saying?
It can be
to kind of over tweak. You know how it is, like you pick one thing apart and then it's like,
and then you over tweak it, overbear it in a way where it's like it's too perfect.
Yeah,
but
exactly,
it's like it's too perfect to where it doesn't sound natural. Yes.
Yeah, the feeling is gone.
Yeah, the feeling is gone. So where it's just it's so much to say in that topic because again, I've always had that mindset to bring that sound of choirs back to reality. Yeah.
And not the showmanship. You know what I'm saying? Not the showmanship.
And then just not really just doing the electric slide.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish
doing the cubic shuffle.
I used to love that back in the day, like those moves,
that routine we used to do. Groove, like.
I used to love, but you can move a little bit.
You can move a little bit, but not get to a point where you in a club now.
Right.
And then also, and then it's like I can agree where where it's being said that there's a lot of clubbing in the church.
It is
where there's this the haze and the blue green lights and everything.
Yeah, psychedelic lights. It's a lot.
It's weird to me.
Really,
I just think it's weird to me, and I feel like if I do remember I have actually, I believe it was either a wedding, I believe, but it was at a church. But then at the same time, like the church itself it didn't feel like a wedding. It just felt like I was just in a club.
Really?
They have
the production, the works.
It was just, I think it was just a little bit too much. In a way where it's like you're doing all of this. You could have just went in the club and
Yeah,
But
I seen that
me
before,
personally,
too.
I feel like church needs to be represented
I
more
agree.
of a respectful
I
manner, and
agree.
it's more so of an honorable atmosphere.
And can I add this too to what you're
Yes.
saying? I think that's it's funny because I love watching live music. Like I'll watch videos of singers. Some people don't do that, but I learn from watching. So one thing I do learn is like, and I've been to judge me later, but I've been to some musical events, and they have the lights and the works and the productions, and nobody is into the music because they're just watching. And I think a big part of that is because y'all are putting on a show. And then you're
Exactly.
putting on a show and then you're saying, come on and worship. Why would they? You're entertaining them.
I feel like no gospel artist should not even have to force a crowd.
You shouldn't. If
Like
worshiping.
even if I had to say, can we just open our mouths and
Yeah.
just give God thanks, and then everybody's just still
Just stand
silent,
there.
and then you got to repeat yourself.
remember that
like,
one meme? Come on and give God first.
Yes, if you got to keep repeating yourself just to force worship
Yeah,
for
prime.
people, I feel like that's just not.
It's not how it's
You
supposed
had to naturally like fall in
Yeah.
the spirit realm
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
yes, you are singing in the congregation, but you literally had to like
Give it to God.
give it to God for
Yeah.
your gift can
Right.
make not only room for you but also for the congregation,
Yes.
because you're the main one to
Yes.
set the atmosphere,
The tone. Yes.
to
It's
set
true.
the tone.
It's true.
So I think that if you can't do that,
Yeah.
then all you are going to have is people just sitting down.
That's a
and
good point.
Actually showing that it's just entertainment, or maybe that's just my favorite gospel artist and everything. They're just on the stage, just just
Entertaining.
doing what I love. Them
Yeah.
riffs, runs, and all that good stuff. But if you're not really giving me something to stand up in and actually get my hand raised up and everything,
Yeah.
I just think that it's
It's proof.
it's proof that you're forcing
Yeah.
that to happen. It should not be that way.
That's a good point. I made a post on my Facebook recently about the crowd response does not dictate pretty much what you're rendering to God. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a part of that. Where like even me personally, whenever I sing, the times I do sing publicly, I remember like you don't qualify whether or not you're doing it right based upon how many people respond to you. You know what I'm saying? Because like to your point, when you are like entertaining people, it's not going to come across to people that are spiritual. You know what I'm saying? They're going to pick that up instantly most of the time. So I do think there's that genuine, like one of the like those old lessons that I would hear from the Maddie Mosses and them about. I respect their traditional approach where you got to live what you're singing about, and you got what I'm saying. Like for me, I've had moments where I'm like, because I know I've been just living all kind of crazy. I had a crazy week, just for a week. It's like I feel like I can't even sing. It's like maybe it's because I'm a singer. It's hard for me to like get into it versus when I know like, okay, I had a good week of fighting the devil. So it's like it comes across. So it's a interesting thing. It's more than just singing.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
And I just think that like once you tap into it, and I feel like you're just gonna just blow.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I always say to my friends, like every last one of us have a different way of actually singing.
Yes.
You have that. You, Elijah, like you have that soft, mellow tone. Where sometimes I can be soft and mellow, but when that song really hit,
you be barking.
it just comes out, and again, it's not for show. It's not for
right.
entertainment.
That's
it's
what's in you.
It's what's in me, and I do believe that if it's in you, use it.
Yes.
And if it's going to help the people to actually know that it's going to show them that what I'm singing to you, this is helpful for you.
Yes.
And it's going to show that.
Yes.
It's going to show how you're operating in worship, how you're operating in getting that connection between you and God,
Yeah.
not just for you, but also for the congregation. Because again,
they need something.
they need something, and anybody who's sitting down may be going through something, and they may
Absolutely.
not want to hear, entertainment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've had moments where I'm like, I don't want to hear preaching of the gospel. Somebody sing something to encourage me. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I remember, some people think I'm very, very like mean when it comes to music and singing, but sometimes people don't sing well, and it touches my soul because I be trying to be in the spirit. So
Yeah.
to that point, it is needful. It's very needful when to your point. Like, and even I'm gonna our last topic. We only have a few more minutes, but when you mentioned about singing in our own kind of gifts, and that's so real. I think I've noticed in music, comparison is the thief of talent in this particular instance, and I don't subscribe to that. What I'm saying, anybody that knows me personally knows, like, I don't believe in limitations. I only believe that you limit yourself. But I also, at the same time, I don't believe everybody's gonna be the same. Like, the things that make you unique as a singer, I admire that. Like, you can hear harmonies I can't fathom. Like, give me one, like on the new song, I only did 3-part harmony, so don't expect much. You know what I'm saying? Because I really can't.
Yeah.
I can't, bro. It's gonna sound like a train's just going like, "Ah." And I've tried it. I have tried multiple harmonies, and I deleted them because it just don't work. It's not my calling.
Well, at least you're trying.
I'm trying. I'm like, Lord, help my ear, open my ears, understanding. But it's your gift, So it's like, maybe it's like, but even though I realize, I think about you sometimes, I'm like, oh, that's his gift. I'm not like, oh, Lord, strike his throat. Like, I'm not thinking that. I'm like, that's amazing. That's not my gift. You know what I'm saying? And that is a big part of it, because when you start to go into mimicry and copying and comparison, envy can set in, hate can set in, external hate and internal hate. You know what I'm saying? And I knew people growing up that think that it's about who's better than who, and not that we're on our separate lanes, on the same height.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I try to express to people, is that, like, look, I'm gonna sing whatever I want to sing, and I'm gonna do it in a way that I can do it. And if you take the song and as long as you kill it, you kill it. You know what I'm saying? So why do you think there's a need, and have you seen that or have you experienced it either, to kind of, it's different to aspire to be like, I wanted to sing like Donnie when I was growing up. I wanted to sing like Marvin. I can't do his tone, but I wanted to sing like him growing up. And I had aspired to be like certain singers, but I've never felt less than a singer because I didn't meet up to certain expectations or certain singers. Why do you think people do that? And have you found yourself in those situations?
I feel like a lot of people tend to limit themselves because of what they hear on the radio. Yeah. And I feel like,
You mean on iTunes? We don't listen to radio no more?
Okay. Yeah.
Showing your age,
yeah, well, I mean, I do still
listen to radio at home. Okay, there you go. There you go. Come on. Go ahead.
So, I do, there are some artists that I've gravitate to where, I've always say, I want to sound like that, or I want to, give that approach to be that powerhouse sound singer. But I know my limits. Yeah, and also I know where my vocal ability can stop at a certain extent to where I can't technically say that I'm a powerhouse singer or whatnot, but I know how to, get into a song to where I know where my vocal ability is. Yes. And I'm okay with that.
Right, yeah. You know how to steer your gift.
I know how to steer it, and I know how to actually park it.
Right, yes.
And where, once I feel my energy going, I can feel everybody else's energy in the room. It's all about reading the room, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. And most singers, from what I've heard, those powerhouse singers always know how to read the room. They always know how to read the room. Yeah. Whether, they can give people a chance to worship, but then come back into a song where even the ad-libbing.
Yeah, musical.
My God.
Yes. That's a whole different podcast.
Now, I will say this. I will say my favorite. There are two people that I've love listening to
Like ad libs.
ad-libbing, one,
Mm.
and diaphragm range, two. And I've said this for my last interview. Hands down, the Pace
Oh,
Sisters
yeah.
will always be my
All
top notch.
20 of them. Wow.
Always be. It was because each and every one of them
Yeah.
has that strong
They have
diaphragm
that
sound.
soulful power. Yeah.
But it's church at the end of the day.
It is. It is.
And then you have Lillian Lloyd.
Oh, yes.
Who is, I would say, one of the
Yeah.
good ad-libbers
Ad-libs, yeah.
who can start
Yeah.
and finish a song with different
Yes.
words.
Stories.
They're not repeated every single time. Like, she knows what she's going to say.
Her cadence is like, cadence choices are crazy.
Yes.
How you tell stories. And
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, and it's just those examples itself, you know, it shows that, you know, anybody can sing. It's just a matter of, again, you finding your skill and ability and how you can take it from there. And it's not about, you know, who's better than others.
Right.
You know, because again, I know singers who's a lot better than me.
Same here.
But that's not going to stop me from, you know,
doesn't
being
diminish
taught,
you.
because I'm the type of person where it's like, let me talk to you for a minute, because I need
Tell me
some
what
tips.
you're doing.
I need notes.
Yes. No,
You know?
it is true. It is true. Like, if there's a run that I want to do, like, teach me what's the easy way to do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Because like, I like to steal runs from people.
Yeah.
There are certain, like, Karen Clark is one of my favorites. Like, she's the run of all runs, you know. But I can't sing like her. But there are certain runs that I do that's inspired by her. Like, she does a lot of, like, downward scales. I like to do those, you know. You know, so stuff like that to that point where you got to always remain a student. I mean, every artist, every musician, every singer is a student forever.
Oh, yes. You know, we would not have a lot of these gospel artists now if they haven't been taught at some point to a level to where they need to be where they need to be now. Right.
And we wouldn't have the songs we have if they weren't trained. Yeah. And they didn't take it seriously. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people forget that you know, especially with songwriting, you know what I'm saying? It's singing and music, when it's your gift, is not just some thing. You know, it's a craft. You know what I'm saying? That's a different conversation because
music is art.
It is art.
It is, because
it's an art form.
You're literally painting a picture on a canvas.
Yeah.
Lyrically, vocal ability, and most importantly, musically. Yeah. Because all that together is going to create a masterpiece where people are just going to be like, whoa.
Yeah. It can change lives.
It can definitely change lives.
Music can change lives.
And this is actually like when I think about it, it's so much to talk about.
It is a lot,
because again, like, it's just not falling just down for, you know, urban music itself. It's international. Yeah, absolutely. And there's different other cultures who does gospel songs differently. Right. And I've heard some of them where it's like, wow, this actually sounds so good. Yeah.
I gotta put you onto one, actually. It's another, I think she's from Nigeria, this singer it's crazy. But we're gonna wrap this session up, my man. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. You taught me some things, and I hope that this helps a lot of people. You know, of course, I want to get out of here by, you know, shamelessly plugging my new song. Because why not? And, you know, this new song, you know, and I want to say I appreciate you for your support as well behind the scenes. You know, it's hard when you do stuff because it's like, you don't be like, is anybody listening? Is anybody out there? Yeah. So I appreciate, you know, y'all, you know, be in the shadows supporting me and stuff like that. It means a lot. And this new song, You Can Make It, it's pretty much done. So I'm excited to share it.
I'm excited to hear it. Okay.
So I appreciate you again. Do you have anything you want to, like, about the choir that you want to really quick?
I'm gonna wait on that.
Okay, wait on that.
I'm gonna wait on that because you know it's a lot of praying that right now I'm doing. Because I do have a goal, and it's not just for me; it's for the rest of the choir members and also for the choir directors that I'm working along with. So it's just a goal that we're trying to achieve. Yeah. And I'm just hoping that everything falls in line once we actually achieve that goal. So
I'm in behind you.
Yeah,
I'm in behind you,
that's
supporting.
about it for me.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you for taking the time. Subscribe, like, comment, and share with somebody that you think needed to hear these stuff that we was talking about. Have a good one.
All right.
Peace.